He has this talent for making the extraordinary seem straightforward.
Number 10, Joe Thomas, Cleveland Browns. In 11 seasons in the NFL, Joe Thomas made 10 Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pro selections, and 2 second-team All-Pro selections.
Oh, man, Joe Thomas, every year he's been, the number one left tackle in the league.
I think Joe Thomas is, the best tackle in the game right now.
The best, hands down, the best.
By the time he retired, he was regarded as one of the greatest offensive linemen in NFL history. But here's the catch. He spent all of that time with a Cleveland Browns team that never once made the playoffs during his playing career.
He's always been in the Pro Bowl because he's that dominant of a player.
Thomas was a consistent bright spot in a consistently disappointing team. And the fact that he never made a single postseason appearance in all that time is truly shocking.
I'm not sure why I was so emotional about a 1-15 or a 1-14 record at that moment, but it just felt like we were doing all the right things and we weren't getting that payoff.
Number 9, Antonio Di Natale, Udinese. There's something to be said for the loyalty of Antonio Di Natale. In a sport where money is becoming more and more of a prevalent factor, Di Natale chose to spend the majority of his career at Udinese, a middling Serie A team. During his 385-game stint with the team, he scored a whopping 191 goals and even managed to score 11 for the Italian national team during an especially strong period for them. But despite the lucrative offers and opportunities that came his way, Di Natale spent the last 12 years of his playing career at Udinese, showing individual brilliance but never finding it with his team as a cohesive unit. Number 8, Kevin Love, Minnesota Timberwolves. One great player usually isn't enough to drive a low-level team to the playoffs in the NBA.
Kevin Love throws it down. That's the power of Love.
That was a lesson that Kevin Love had to learn the hard way during his time with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Don't get us wrong, Love himself was a beast during this period, posting the type of stats that made him one of the best forwards in the entire league.
Love for 3, knocks it down. Huge triple for Kevin Love to tie it up.
Prior to his run of success with the LeBron-led Cavaliers, Love was basically carrying this franchise on their stat sheet, and he never did manage to get them into a playoff spot. The sad part, he probably could have been contending for championships under different circumstances.
Got it! Oh my, oh my, oh my. This crowd is stunned.
Number 7, Ernie Banks, Chicago Cubs. Ernie Banks had a folky enthusiasm that made him one of the most cheerful and likable stars of his era.
The hot and cold Cubs move into Milwaukee, featuring Ernie Banks, who succeeded Henry Aaron as the National League's most valuable player.
But here's the issue. His beloved Cubs were struggling through a real tough patch during the 19 seasons he spent with them. By the time he retired, Banks had earned the right to call himself one of the greatest players of all time.
Ernie did it. Number 499.
But he never once got to show those skills in the postseason. A truly great ambassador for the sport, a generational athlete, and a guy who was doomed to spend his career with a team that was going nowhere.
Long after I'm not here, I'll still be here.
Number 6, Mike Trout, Los Angeles Angels. We could have quite easily gone for Shohei Ohtani with this pick, but Mike Trout is the real standout for this list.
3-1 to Trout. High fly ball deep to left, and that ball's going to go. Mike Trout hits it out.
We could sit here and talk about his insane accomplishments or how he's been regarded as the single best player in baseball for large portions of his career.
That is driven out to left center. Forget about this one. Drive home safely. 1-0 walk-off. One swing of the bat ends it.
But despite sticking it out with the Los Angeles Angels after signing an insane 12-year, $426 million contract, his individual success has not been replicated by the team as a whole. Just one playoff appearance since 2011, which they lost, has left many people wondering whether this all-time great is actually only being allowed to use a fraction of his greatness.
That one, a 3-run home run for Trout. What a game he has had so far.
Number 5, Calvin Johnson, Detroit Lions. On the long list of NFL players who've been let down by substandard franchises, Calvin Johnson basically had his potential squandered by the Detroit Lions.
Into the end zone, the pass is caught for the touchdown, Calvin Johnson.
2 playoff appearances in 9 seasons is just not the type of return that any elite player should put up with. And for the aptly named Megatron, his drive to compete slowly whittled away until he eventually retired from the sport at the young age of 30.
Johnson is there. for the touchdown. Number 3 on the day for Calvin Johnson.
Johnson was, in some ways, the perfect wide receiver. Tall, fast, powerful, and great with his hands. It's a real shame that he never fully got to show us what he was capable of.
He goes up, he makes the catch. Are you kidding me? Oh, Megatron, you did it again.
Number 4, Elton Brand. Chicago Bulls and Los Angeles Clippers. Timing's everything in the world of sports, and for Elton Brand, joining up with the Chicago Bulls directly after the Michael Jordan era was a real shame.
Leading all rookies in scoring, rebounding, and blocked shots. He's everything the Bulls had hoped for.
They were a franchise who were struggling for momentum and identity, even though Brand himself was at times spectacular. He spent 2 impressive seasons with the struggling Bulls before getting traded to the LA Clippers.
Elton Brand has 24 and 10, and 26 and 10 rebounds.
Well, he gets great extension on that jump shot.
But once again, this was another franchise who were being sorely mismanaged. Instead of competing for top honors in the playoffs, Brand was a standout member of a pretty mid-level pair of teams.
Still got it.
Elton Brand finishing up a long and outstanding career.
Number 3, Matt Tissier, Southampton. Matt Tissier well and truly came out of nowhere in the late 80s and into the 90s, boasting the stylish approach to the beautiful game that made him a huge hit with the fans.
And now Tissier! Oh, it's another stunning goal from Matthew Tissier.
He spent his entire career with Southampton, a middling team who were never too far from a relegation battle.
Tissier went for goal! Fantastic goal! And that is worth the admission fee alone.
Called the most gifted English player of his generation, Tissier was a technical master who never truly showed it on the biggest possible stages. Sure, the fact that he was a one-club man was admirable, but staying at Southampton ensured that he would never be a contender for any major titles in the game.
And scoring a terrific goal, even by his elevated standards. That is something special.
Number 2, Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders was a truly electric player in his prime, one of the most impressive running backs to ever do it.
Hand off Barry, skirts to the left side, breaks a tackle, and he will take it in. Touchdown!
But despite his clear world-class talent, he stuck with a very mediocre Detroit Lions team for far too long. The lack of quality support really started to show in his output. In other words, Sanders was carrying this franchise on his back for pretty much his whole career.
The Barry spins free, touchdown, Lions!
Wow.
But when he retired suddenly at the age of just 31, it came as a major shock to the sporting world. His career was legendary, and the Lions retired his number 20 jersey in 2004. Unfortunately, we can't help but wonder just how great he could have been under a different team's banner.
I think you got him tackled. Oh, I mean, that's by keeping your feet going and making Sanders move.
Number 1, Babe Ruth, Boston Braves. Time has a way of catching up to even the greatest of players. No athlete in baseball commanded the same level of respect and awe as Babe Ruth did in his prime.
The Bambino is still the game's greatest showman.
However, by the time he left the New York Yankees, he was a shadow of his former self. But nothing could have prepared him for just how bad his next team would be.
And I appreciate being with the Boston Club, and I'm going to do all I can to bring them what you want.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm going to like the Boston Club. I've met the fellows a few minutes ago, and they all seem to be lovely chaps.
Joining the Boston Braves turned out to be the final nail in his career's coffin. The year was 1935, Babe's last in the pro ranks. The Braves would compile an abysmal record of 38-115, one of the worst in MLB history. It makes you wonder just how much even a peak Babe Ruth could really help them.
Ruth always harbored the hope that by signing on with Boston, the Braves, as a player, this could mean a transition to becoming a manager.
But what truly great player do you think stood out in a pretty subpar team? Let us know in the comments.
Love? Oh, what a shot by Kevin Love. A thing of beauty.